Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra. Market Mantra.
Namaskar and welcome to this Monday edition of Market Mantra, the program in which we give you a complete update on the economic news of the day. And friends, today we shall also be taking calls from you on any queries that you may have on economic, business and stock market news. But please do remember that we do not address company-specific queries. Well, you may call us on the numbers 23314444, 23717106 and 23421050. If you're calling us from outside Delhi, please do not forget to add 011 as a prefix to these numbers. I'm your anchor Lalima Aneja Dang, and with me is my co-anchor in Hindi, Vibhuti Mishra.
शुक्रिया लालिमा। नमस्कार श्रोताओं, मार्केट मंत्र में आपका स्वागत है, जहां हम ताजा आर्थिक खबरें आप तक लाएंगे। आज सोमवार है और हम आपके सवाल भी सीधे कार्यक्रम में शामिल करेंगे। आर्थिक, व्यापारिक और शेयर बाजार से जुड़े किसी भी विषय पर आप प्रश्न पूछ सकते हैं। यहां बता दें कि कार्यक्रम में किसी कंपनी विशेष या स्टॉक के बारे में जानकारी नहीं दी जाती है। हमारे 3 टेलीफोन नंबर्स हैं 2331 4444 2371 7106 और 23421050 पर फोन करके आप सवाल भी पूछ सकते हैं। दिल्ली से बाहर के श्रोता इन नंबरों से पहले 011 अवश्य डायल करें। सवालों के जवाब देने और चर्चा के लिए स्टूडियो में आमंत्रित हैं आर्थिक विश्लेषक शिशिर सिन्हा। शिशिर जी, आपका स्टूडियो में बहुत स्वागत है।
धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
और सबसे पहले हेडलाइंस के साथ हैं लालिमा अनेजा डेंग।
Thank you, Vibhuti. Yes, the headlines first. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs 27th Financial Stability and Development Council meeting in New Delhi. Sensex surges over 700 points to close above 61,700 mark. Nifty climbs nearly 200 points to settle beyond 18,250 level. And oil prices rise as US recession fears ease.
वित्त मंत्री निर्मला सीतारमन ने नई दिल्ली में वित्तीय स्थिरता और विकास परिषद की 27वीं बैठक की अध्यक्षता की। सेंसेक्स 700 अंकों की उछाल के साथ 61,700 अंक के ऊपर बंद। निफ्टी 200 अंकों की तेजी के साथ 18,250 के स्तर के ऊपर बंद। अमेरिकी मंदी की आशंका कम होने से तेल की कीमतें बढ़ी।
Well, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today chaired the 27th Financial Stability and Development Council FSDC meeting in New Delhi for the first time after the announcement of the budget 2023-24. During the meeting, discussions were held on the formulation of policy and legislative reform measures required to further develop the financial sector and its implementation expeditiously, which will not only increase the financial access of the people but also increase the overall economic well-being. The Finance Minister advised that regulators should maintain a constant vigil as ensuring financial sector stability is a shared responsibility of the regulators. She suggested that regulators must take appropriate and timely action to mitigate any vulnerability and strengthen financial stability. Ms. Sitharaman also asked regulators to adopt a focused approach to reduce the compliance burden further and ensure a streamlined and efficient regulatory environment. The progress achieved in this regard will be reviewed by the Union Finance Minister with each regulator in June this year. The Finance Minister said the regulators need to be proactive and ensure cybersecurity preparedness of the information technology systems to reduce the risk of cyber attacks, protect sensitive financial data and maintain overall system integrity, thus safeguarding the stability and resilience of the Indian financial ecosystem.
और शेयर बाजार की बात कर लेते हैं लालिमा जी। तो प्रमुख घरेलू सूचकांकों में आज 1% से ज्यादा की तेजी दर्ज की गई। बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सेंसेक्स 61,700 अंक से ऊपर बंद हुआ, जबकि नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज का सूचकांक निफ्टी 18,200 के स्तर के पर बंद हुआ। मिले जुले वैश्विक संकेतों के बीच दोनों बेंचमार्क सूचकांकों में तेजी रही। बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में सेंसेक्स 710 अंक या 1.16% बढ़कर 61,764 पर बंद हुआ। नेशनल स्टॉक का निफ्टी 195 अंक या 1.08% चढ़कर 18,264 पर बंद हुआ। बीएसई के व्यापक बाजार में मिड कैप इंडेक्स में 1% के नजदीक और स्मॉल कैप इंडेक्स में ½ की तेजी रही।
All right, Shishir ji, welcome to Akashvani and Market Mantra. What does it mean when the finance minister says that we must also increase the overall economic well-being, because this FSDC meeting is actually a platform where all the regulators get together, and it's a good opportunity to brainstorm and see that it's a win-win situation for all. There's no winner or loser, but everyone puts their own agenda forward and see the work towards the overall health of the country. How do you make of this? Like, financial sector stability is a shared responsibility. When these are voiced, what exactly does it mean for the country?
So if you can remember, RBI released a financial stability report in the month of December, and they talked about what are the initial indications when the bank is in stress. Now this FSDC meeting is talking about identifying stress for overall economy, not just for the banking sector, and take the precautionary measures so that the stress not becoming a big problem. So this is one big outcome of this meeting, that all the regulators will work to find out stress, to how to mitigate that risk, and what kind of solution they can provide for removing that stress. This is number one decision. Number two, which is very important, especially for people who are having what we call as the unclaimed deposit, unclaimed shares, unclaimed dividends. So this is a big amount. I mean, especially when we talk about the banking sector, there are unclaimed deposit almost around 36,000 crore rupees.
That much?
Yeah, that much. So the problem is that many of the people either have not given any nominee detail, or even if there is a nominee details, nominees are not aware that their names are with the bank account or in the demat account or in the dividend one. So what this meeting has decided, that they will run a special drive, especially for those accounts where the nominee details are available, but nominees are not aware of their names attached with that particular account, and they will try to distribute the amount, which is the unclaimed deposit, unclaimed shares and unclaimed dividend, to those nominees. So this is one big drive which will really a good news for the masses. This is number two. Number three, which is also very critical, is the cyber security.
Yes, I was coming to that.
This particular meeting has talked about that the financial sector overall, globally, they are facing a lot of problem in terms of the cyber thing. And we always say that people who are in the IT world are always one step ahead of the regulator. So we have to be very proactive. We have to think of some measures to end this kind of problem, at least to reduce that kind of problem. So you cannot end, I beg your pardon, you cannot end this kind of problem, but you can reduce those problems. How you can reduce those problems? So all the regulators will work together and they will try to find out a solution for that. One more thing which they have discussed, that especially in the wake of the global financial crisis, especially in United States, the government is saying that our financial sector is well protected and well regulated. So we should not worry about our banking sector or our financial sector when the things are not going well in United States. So these are some things which happened in this FSDC.
आगे आपसे बहुत समझेंगे कि वित्त मंत्री ने कल भरोसा दिया था कि भले ही अनेक देशों में मंदी हो, लेकिन भारत में मंदी की संभावना बिल्कुल नहीं है। वजह आपसे कुछ जानेंगे, लेकिन इससे पहले बेंगलुरु से हमारे साथ श्रोता हैं एनाद प्रसाद जी। अपना प्रश्न पूछिए।
Hi, good evening, Market Mantra. Mr. Mishra, there are two questions. One is FAI's investment is almost about 10,800 crores in just 4 trading sessions during May. just would like to know on which sectors these money were invested. My second question is U.S. inflation and the Bank of England key factors, how can determine the Indian market? Thank you.
Okay. Now coming to the first question, when we talk about the FII investment, or rather I would use the word FPI investment in sectors like infrastructure or the capital goods are very high, because these are the sectors which are supposed to give a promising return, and since the government focus is on infrastructure at this moment, so they are putting more money into that. IT sector is not getting that kind of traction. We all know what are the reasons for that. Financial sector, earlier they used to get more and more FPI, but now the things are slightly different in financial sector. So in terms of sectors which are attracting more and more FPI investment are basically the infrastructure, capital goods, and some of the FMCG sector. Now coming to your second question about, his second question was about...
Hello? Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed his second question. So if I recall, then I will reply later.
When we're talking about the cyber crime, we just had a lot of raids in a group of villages in Haryana. All these people were being formally trained by teachers how to commit cyber crimes. So I think kind of a precedent has been set. And of course now we're making a policy, and as the FSDC meeting has said that they will work in that direction. Right?
I think the question was about the US and Bank of England, inflation in US and Bank of England rate decision.
Yes.
So what kind of impact we are going to see?
Yes.
So if the inflation is high, although Federal Reserve has given indication that they are going for a pause in the next round of FOMC meeting, but if the inflation is high and if the employment number is encouraging, they may go for one more round of rate hike. And if it happens, then there will be some kind of what you can say FPI outflow from the Indian market. At this moment, what we are seeing that since the US Fed has given an indication that they are not going to raise, or they may go for pause, so that is giving some encouragement to the investor in the Indian market, and that is what you are seeing. Even today, the market went up by 700 points. Coming about the Bank of England rate hike may not be that much kind of impact when we talk about the Federal Reserve, because Bank of England has a different kind of situation in terms of the global financial matter, and Federal Reserve has a different matter. When the Federal Reserve hikes a rate, it's a kind of signal to the foreign portfolio investor in all the emerging economies to take out the money and put money in the US. When the Bank of England does it, it is not giving that kind of signal in terms of the FPI outflow.
All right, that's well explained. We are now joined by Vinod Kumar Gupta calling us from Ghaziabad. जी विनोद जी, सवाल पूछें अपना.
सर मेरा सवाल है कि सीनियर सिटीजन सेविंग स्कीम नगर में बैंक में कराता हूँ और बैंक डूब जाती है, तो मेरे को पूरा पैसा मिलेगा या खाली 5 लाख ही मिलेगा?
देखिए, जो आपका इंश्योरेंस कवर है, जो बीमा सुरक्षा है जमा पर, वो 5 लाख का ही है. तो आप चाहे सीनियर सिटीजन में है या नॉर्मल फिक्स डिपॉजिट में, यानी कि आप 60 साल से अगर कम उम्र है, तो भी आपको उतनी ही रकम मिलेगी, 5 लाख रुपए की ही रकम मिलेगी. ये एक व्यवस्था है, और अभी फिलहाल ऐसी कोई आशंका दिख नहीं रही है कि कोई बैंक डूबने वाला है. खासतौर पे जो बड़ी बैंक्स हैं, चाहे वो निजी क्षेत्र में हो या सार्वजनिक क्षेत्र के हैं, सहकारी बैंकों को लेकर के एक आशंका बनी रहती है. कई बैंकों में हमने ये देखा है, लेकिन बाकी बैंकों को लेकर के आपको चिंता करने की जरूरत फिलहाल नहीं है.
Let's take a look at the stocks in English. The key domestic indices today logged gains of more than 1%. Index of top 30 companies at Bombay Stock Exchange, Sensex, closed above 61,700 mark, while Nifty, index of top 50 companies at the National Stock Exchange, settled over 18,200 level. Both benchmark indices rose amid mixed global cues. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange surged 710 points or 1.16% to end at 61,764. Nifty at the National Stock climbed 195 points or 1.08% to settle at 18,264. In the broader market at the BSE, the mid-cap index rose nearly 1% and the small-cap index grew over 0.5%. In the Sensex index, which is a pack of 30 companies, shares of 27 firms rose while 3 fell. Indus Bank was the top gainer as it jumped nearly 4.9%, followed by Tata Motors, which climbed 4.8%. Bajaj Finance appreciated 4.2%. On the other hand, Sun Pharma plunged 0.9% and Larsen & Toubro slumped 0.6%. Nestle India fell 0.2% each. In sectoral indices at the BSE, all sectors were positive except consumer durables, which declined 0.1%. The automobile sector was the top gainer, which rose 1.7%, followed by realty, bankex and financial services sectors, all three surging 1.5% each. The overall market breadth was positive as shares of 2,073 companies advanced, while those of 1,575 companies declined. A total of 163 shares remained unchanged. So that was an exhaustive report on the Sensex, as much as we can carry in Market Mantra. Shishir, how do you explain the health of the Sensex index, and is it a representative of the country's economy?
There are two factors in when we talk about surge in the Sensex and Nifty. One is, of course, the Federal Reserve indication about the interest rate when they are going or when they are indicating that there will be pause. So that is giving some kind of encouraging sign to the investor to remain invested or to put more money into that. This is number one. Number two, we have heard what the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said yesterday, that there is no apprehension about recession. Yeah. That is a very big indication in terms of the economic or the health of the economy of the nation. Today, when she reviewed the state of economy, this issue also cropped up, and getting all the indication, it was a kind of consensus voice in that meeting that there is nothing like recession, or there is nothing like, at this moment we are not seeing a very disturbing slowdown. Of course, the economic growth will be lesser than FY23 because of the global situation. We all know what is happening in Russia-Ukraine war and also in United States. So there will be some impact, but that impact is not that large, and that is why India is still the fastest growing economy in the world. So all these things are contributing in a kind of, what you can say, bulls are having a good day in the stock market.
Right.
और उन्होंने ये भी जोड़ा कि हम जो है पांचवी बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था हैं और जल्दी ही अगर हम जो चुनौतियां हैं सामना करेंगे तो तीसरी बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था भी बन जाएंगे और 2047 तक तो हमें उन्नत अर्थव्यवस्था बनना ही है। बुनियादी ढांचे में 10 लाख करोड़ कार्बन टन, क्या देखते हैं इसको
आप 10 लाख नहीं, आप 13.7 लाख करोड़ कहिए जी, क्योंकि 3.7 लाख करोड़ जो है वो ग्रांटिंग एड फॉर कैपिटल क्रिएशन है। तो हम लोग जिसको कहते हैं कि प्रभावी जो खर्च है वो 13.7 लाख करोड़ का है। अगर पिछले साल अगर आप देखेंगे तो 7.5 लाख करोड़ और 2.5 लाख करोड़ का था, तो लगभग 10.5 यानी 10.5 लाख करोड़ का था। अब सवाल यह है कि इस समय में इतने ज्यादा निवेश से क्या असर पड़ेगा। देखिए, कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट जब होता है, पूंजीगत खर्च होता है, तो उसका मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट जो है वो 1 से कहीं ज्यादा है। यानी कि आप 1 रुपया लगाते हैं, जो निजी क्षेत्र है उससे 1 रुपये से ज्यादा का निवेश आता है, उसका असर भी 1 रुपये से ज्यादा का होता है। इसको हम लोग मल्टीप्लायर इम्पैक्ट कहते हैं, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जब हमारा टारगेट है कि हमको तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बननी है, जो अभी करीबन हम $3.5 ट्रिलियन के करीब में है, और हमारे लिए दूसरा लक्ष्य है कि 2047 तक हमें उन्नत राष्ट्र में आना है। जी। तो इन लक्ष्यों को देखते हुए सबसे पहला काम आपको क्या करना है, अपनी बुनियादी व्यवस्था को बेहतर करना है। चाहे सड़क की बात करें, रेल मार्ग की बात करें, दूर संचार की बात करें, इन सबको अगर बेहतर करेंगे तो इससे उद्योग की रफ्तार को बढ़ाने में मदद मिलेगी। क्योंकि एक कंपनी का बनना काफी नहीं होता, एक प्लांट का लगना काफी नहीं होता, उस प्लांट के बने सामान को बाजार में पहुंचना भी जरूरी होता है, और ये तभी संभव है जब आपके पास बुनियादी क्षेत्र बेहतर हो।
Shishir, last time we've been having calls often about pension and pensionary benefits. Is there a difference? And if yes, how would you explain them? Because we get calls on that.
Yeah, that's a very important point, especially for the senior citizens who have retired or those who are going to retire. There are two kind of what you can say gain, or there are two kind of payment post retirement. One is the pensionary benefit. This is one time payment. It could be in form of gratuity, it could be in form of say commutation, or it could be in terms of any other payment. So if there is a one time payment which is the pensionary benefit, there will be no tax on that, there will be no income tax on that. But if you are getting pension on a regular basis, and if your income, total income in a year, in a financial year, is more than the threshold defined under the old tax regime or the new tax regime, then you are supposed to pay the tax. You are supposed to file the income tax return and pay the tax. Number two, if you are opting for the newer tax regime, if your total income is total pension income is up to rupees 7 lakh, then you don't have to pay any tax. If it is more than that, then there will be normal system. So please remember, pensionary benefit, no tax, that's a one time. But if you are getting recurring payment, then you have to pay the tax.
All right, let's take a look at the rupee now.
जी हाँ, तो विदेशी मुद्रा बाजार में आज अमेरिकी डॉलर के मुकाबले रुपये की कीमत 81 रुपये 80 पैसे रही। विश्व की 6 प्रमुख मुद्राओं की तुलना में डॉलर की मजबूती दर्शाने वाला डॉलर इंडेक्स अंतर्दिवसीय कारोबार में मामूली रूप से 0.11% गिरकर 101.10 पर कारोबार कर रहा था।
Rupee has been hovering around 82, somewhere little less, little more against the US currency. How do you see that? What is good for the import is not good for the exports and vice versa.
See,
what is good for us?
Anything of excess is bad, whether we talk about import, whether we talk about the export, import or export. So when we talk about the import, that means if the dollar is stronger, then you have to pay more in terms of rupee. And if you are exporting more in terms of services and or in the goods, you are getting more money if the dollar is on a stronger foot. Now the big problem is that what kind of level we think. Sometimes we say 81, sometimes we say 82. But please remember that at this moment our forex reserve is at a very record level, and that is giving a comfort to the rupee. And also, if you talk about the dollar index, the dollar is not having a good time at this moment. So that is also giving some kind of comfort. So we will see rupee hovering in the range of 82-83, which is at this moment is a comfortable level.
इसी बीच दिल्ली से हमारे प्रिय श्रोता अनिल आहूजा जुड़ गए हैं। जी अनिल जी, अपना प्रश्न पूछिए।
गुड इवनिंग विभूति जी, गुड इवनिंग लालिमा जी, गुड इवनिंग शिशिर जी।
गुड इवनिंग सर।
जी जी।
हमने अभी पेंशनरी के बारे में एक बहुत बढ़िया सवाल किया था, तो उससे रिलेटेड एक छोटी सी क्वेरी है। जैसे आई एम गोइंग टू रिटायर आफ्टर नेक्स्ट 2 years, तो जो पेंशनरी के जो बेनिफिट्स है, यू वर सेइंग कि ग्रेचुटी एंड पीएफ एंड लीव इनकैशमेंट इज टैक्स फ्री लाइक दैट, वो उसका कोई रेंज है या ये फुली टैक्स फ्री होता है?
जो वन टाइम आपका पेमेंट है अनिल सर, वो उसमें आपको कोई भी टैक्स नहीं देना है, लेकिन जो रेकरिंग होगा उसमें आपको देना है। रहा सवाल कि कोई थ्रेशोल्ड की बात है, तो वो थ्रेशोल्ड कुछ मामलों में तय है। वो थ्रेशोल्ड के लिए एक नोटिफिकेशन देखना होगा मुझे, फिर मैं आपको विस्तार से बता पाऊंगा। लेकिन हाँ, कुछ मामलों में थ्रेशोल्ड है। नॉर्मल केस में क्या होता है कि जो आपका वन टाइम पेमेंट होता है उसमें आपको टैक्स नहीं देना पड़ता है। जहां तक रेकरिंग है, जैसे आपको पेंशन मिल रहा है, तो जैसा मैंने आपको कहा था कि आप अगर न्यू टैक्स रिजीम को ऑप्ट करते हैं, 7 लाख रुपए तक का आपका एनुअल पेंशन है, तो आपको 1 पैसा भी टैक्स नहीं देना है। 7 लाख से ज्यादा है तो जो 3 लाख 5 लाख का जो अलग अलग स्लैब के जो रेट्स हैं वो आपको करने हैं। अगर आप ओल्ड टैक्स रिजीम में जाते हैं तो फिर आपको उस हिसाब से टैक्स आपको देना पड़ेगा अगर थ्रेशोल्ड से ज्यादा है तो।
All right, that further clarifies that. Now we're joined by Swati, who's calling us from Mumbai. Yes, Swati, please ask your question.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening, yes.
So last week, US Fed had increased the interest rates by 25 basis points. My question is, can we expect an increase in the bank FD rates and the senior citizen savings scheme rates?
The bad news is that we are not expecting any kind of rise in the deposit interest rate because the Reserve Bank led Monetary Policy Committee has already gone for a pause. And in the next meeting also, until unless inflation exceeds something like 6.5% or 6.3%, then we can have kind of repo rate hike. But at this moment, we are not expecting any kind of rate hike, and that will certainly have some impact. Of course, if in the month of say July, if in the month of June, if we say a small saving interest rate hike, then the banks will be forced to hike the deposit rate because they have to compete with the small savings.
और इसी बीच एशियाई और यूरोपीय बाजार का हाल जान लेते हैं। एशियाई बाजार आज मिले जुले कारोबार के साथ बंद हुए। चीन का शंघाई कंपोजिट इंडेक्स 1.8%, जबकि हांगकांग का हैंग सेंग 1.2% और दक्षिण कोरिया के कोस्पी में 0.5% की तेजी रही। इधर जापान का निक्केई 0.7% और सिंगापुर का स्ट्रेट टाइम्स इंडेक्स 0.3% गिरकर बंद हुए। यूरोपीय बाजार दिन के कारोबार में सकारात्मक क्षेत्र में कारोबार कर रहे थे। लंदन के फुट्सी में 1% के नजदीक तेजी आई, जबकि अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक जर्मनी के डैक्स में 0.1% और फ्रांस के कैक में 0.2% की तेजी दर्ज हुई।
A look at the oil prices. Oil prices rose today as U.S. recession fears eased and investors assessed conflicting signals for crude demand after a period of volatile trading. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $76.82 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude price was at $72.93 per barrel when reports last came in. What do we make of the oil prices? Well, before that, we are now joined by Jagmal from Delhi. Let's have a word with him. जी जगमल जी, सवाल पूछें अपना।
हाँ, नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार। एक रिक्वेस्ट है, अपने रेडियो की वॉल्यूम कम कर दीजिए, इको हो रहा है। जी पूछें जी।
हाँ सर, सेक्शन 80D का सब क्लोज है प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस, जिसमें मैं सीनियर सिटीजन हूँ, तो उसमें बिना मेडिक्लेम के कितना क्लेम कर सकता हूँ? जैसे मान लिया मैं होम्योपैथी ट्रीटमेंट कराता हूँ जिसका कोई बिल वगैरह नहीं होता, या ये हॉस्पिटल जैसे जाने का। एक बार मुझे याद आया है, अरुण जेटली जी ने जब बजट रखा था तो उनको कहा था कि भाई जो सर्विस करते हैं सैलरी के साथ तो कन्वेंस का मिलता है, लेकिन जो शो कर सकते हैं, तो कितना बिना मेडिकल किसी इंश्योरेंस वगैरह की?
देखिए जगमल जी, जितने सवाल को मैं आपके समझ पाया, चूंकि थोड़ी सी आवाज में दिक्कत थी, लेकिन आपने जो हेल्थ वाली बात पूछी है, अमूमन जो आपको इनकम टैक्स में जो छूट का प्रावधान है वो होता है कि जब आप कोई हेल्थ क्लेम पॉलिसी लेते हैं, इंश्योरेंस की कोई हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की पॉलिसी लेते हैं, सामान्य व्यवस्था में जो खर्च की जहां तक बात है कि आपने खर्च कहां किया है, उसमें कुछ हद तक छूट का प्रावधान है। लेकिन याद रखिए कि उसके लिए आपको भले ही कोई कागज इनकम टैक्स विभाग में जमा ना करना पड़े, लेकिन आपके पास वो कागज होना चाहिए, क्योंकि विभाग आपसे कभी भी पूछ सकता है कि आपने जो कुछ भी आपने दिखाया है अपने रिटर्न में, उसका कोई आपके पास सबूत है कि नहीं। तो वो सबूत अगर आपके पास है तो आप क्लेम करिए, अगर नहीं है तो वो क्लेम मत करिए, बाद में आपके लिए परेशानी पैदा हो सकती है।
अब समय बाजार में सोने के हाल जानने का है। मल्टी कमोडिटी एक्सचेंज में जून के अनुबंध के लिए सोने की कीमतों में आज 302 रुपये की तेजी आई। सोना 60,930 रुपये प्रति 10 ग्राम पर कारोबार कर रहा था। चांदी भी जुलाई अनुबंध के लिए अंतिम समाचार मिलने तक 141 रुपये की तेजी के साथ 77,188 रुपये प्रति किलोग्राम पर कारोबार कर रही थी। वैश्विक बाजारों में न्यूयॉर्क मर्केंटाइल एक्सचेंज में सोना $2,030 और 90 सेंट प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रहा था। दिन के कारोबार में गिरावट के साथ चांदी $25.87 प्रति औंस पर कारोबार कर रही थी।
सोना का कंजम्पशन, well, we are the world's largest consumer. The Indians, passion for gold never ends, whatever the money. How do you view this?
Whenever there is uncertainty, gold will rise. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Globally, we are seeing all sort of problems. So global disturbance are there and gold prices will go up. Whether we are increasing the demand, whether we are increasing the consumption, that's another factor. The first factor is when there is a uncertainty, when there is a disruptions, then the gold prices will go up. Now coming to a specific question about the demand. See, India has a demand throughout the year. First we say that it's a marriage demand. Then we do not need gold only during the marriage. On all the occasion, whether at the time of birth or even after the death, we need to have gold. We need to pay we need to give the gold. So gold demand will be there, but please remember, whenever there is a global uncertainty, gold prices will go up.
Right. Thank you, Shishir Sinha, our market expert for today, for joining us and updating us with your views. And friends, before we close, here's a reminder of the headlines. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs 27th Financial Stability and Development Council meeting in New Delhi. Sensex surges over 700 points to close above 61,700 mark. Nifty climbs nearly 200 points to settle beyond 18,250 level. And oil prices rise as US recession fears ease. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of Market Mantra. This is myself, Lalima Aneja Dang, and my co-anchor Vibhuti Mishra, signing off. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Market Mantra, Mantra. Market Mantra.